Hi everyone, I wanted to do a video overview of version 6.0.13. It's been a couple months since I pushed out an update. A lot of that's because a lot of travel I've been doing with the office job and a lot of big installs we've had, so I've been pretty tied up with that. But I've had a couple weekends to really focus on development. And with those weekends, I've been doing .NET development for many years, over 20 years I think now, so I can knock out some pretty big things pretty quick. And so I feel good about what's in this update. Often think about what would the software be doing if I was doing this full time. This was my only focus, and be pretty crazy. It may not be a good thing either, because I may be pushing updates out so much that people may not like that. So I like the rate at which we're pushing updates out, and if you're like me, you don't really want updates constantly. You don't want to go into a race weekend thinking, well, crap, do I have a version that had any kind of issues? So I'm very careful with over 600 timers, and of course me and my crews, I don't want to go into a race weekend hoping things are going to be okay, right? So feel good about the rate we're pushing out, and that each update is as solid as I can get it. But I feel really good about this one. So this update fixes a couple things that were taking longer than they should, or could even freeze the program. So I think I've found those hard to find either situations that could cause that or whatever, and got them resolved. So let's take a quick look. First, let's look at how to ensure that you're running the newest version of the software and how to get the newest update. So what you can do is you can click on the help menu and then put your mouse over the file version number, and this will show you the date at which the software was created for that particular version you're running. So this version was created yesterday. That's when I built the installer, and I pushed it out to my website today. So what you can do is you can compare this date. Now usually I build it and push it out the same day, so on this particular example we'll have to kind of ignore the difference here. But on my homepage, if you click on the timing systems side, the very first date at the top here says when this update was pushed out. So it's pushed out 3/5. Again, typically those dates match, but if the dates are matched or very close, then you'll know that you've got an update to get or not. Again, if you're not sure, you can also, or if you know you're not up to date, you can click here and then do download newest update. If it's already the same version, the Windows is going to tell you, hey, do you want to repair this version? Just hit no. That means you've already got the newest version. So anyways, that's how to get the newest update. And while you're on my website, by the way, I did update all of the links down here, because I've got some new videos showing how to create timing boxes and some of the equipment that I use that you may be interested in. And so I've updated all the links to include those products. And these links, I did set up a Amazon affiliate page, so a little side plug, I guess, for myself here. It does benefit me if you click on the link, even if you don't plan on buying these particular products. If you're going to buy something from Amazon, it sure would be awesome if you click on the link and then go search for the thing you want to buy and buy it. I think in some way it ties it all together, and I get some credit for that. It doesn't cost you anything, helps benefit me and help support what I'm doing here. So anyways, it's appreciated if you do that. And then also in the same on my YouTube videos, like on this one where I'm talking about all the products I use, updated all the Amazon links so that they point to the affiliate page I have. So anyways, so back on the update. Again, I think you're going to like what you see here. So number one, if I close the software out and pull it back up, you're going to see that the software opens essentially instantly. In the past, the process for checking the license key, checking computer key or whatever, could take on some people's computers a long time. And it's definitely unnerving if that happens on race day. So this is something that now the very first time you run the software after getting this update, it's going to load just as slow or the same it did before. But then from that point forward, it stores the items locally it needs to instead of trying to go out. And so those items, since they're local, will open instantly. So just be aware if you get this update, when you get this update, the very first time it loads, it may be slow, but then turn right around, close that, open back up, and you'll see that it's instant. So no more stress about it possibly taking a while to load when you're needing to do something critical. So that's a nice improvement. And then we got two things I'm going to show you here, because I'm going to kind of be forced to show you both at the same time because they're both on the same screen. But first we're going to focus on this feature requested by Brad at Bodies Incorporated, actually. There may have been someone else before him, but he's I know the most recent one to request this. So he asked for the ability to highlight or have the software indicate when someone has finished faster than they should. And a good example of this is this Sillamore 50K/25K race, or any race where you've got different distances going on. Because what can happen is, if you've timed long enough, someone will register for the longer event, and then they never come tell anybody. They just decide on their own to just jump in and run the shorter event. And when that happens, of course, Well, if the software assumes they ran the longer event, well, then it could list them as the winner of that longer event, even though they finished maybe middle of the pack of the shorter event, right? So the request was that the software highlight those people so that you, as the timer, could say, "Whoop, something's wrong here." So what I've added in is this feature here. Now you also notice I've spaced this screen out. I've made it hopefully easier to read, so it's a little taller, not as condensed and compact in there. So, but this right here, so I've got this set up to where you can put in the number of minutes. And so if someone finishes less than 240 minutes, which is 4 hours, 6 times 4 is 24, then highlight that person as a potential problem. And then same for the 25K. For the 25K, I say if someone, now this course, by the way, the Sillamore race is like very brutal. So I think the course record's like 2:19 or something. So the 25K, I said, look, if someone finishes in less than 2 hours, that's an indicator that this is not, probably not legit. And so now the software is not going to take them out of the results or anything. It's simply going to highlight that result on the screen so that it's something you need to investigate. So let's go ahead and look at the screen, and you'll actually see two new features when I do this. So we use this race as an example. So we got some records in green, which I'll explain in a second, and we got down here this record in orange. And so I've added this little menu bar, or this helper tool here, where it lets you know, hey, green means they're award winner. Red indicates an unassigned time, like for example, if I hit the space bar, or if I type in a number that doesn't exist, then that time will be red. And then orange indicates a person that has a time that doesn't fall within what you expect, right? So they're outside of 4 hours. Now, in this case, you may be saying, well, wait a minute, he's outside of 4 hours. Why is it highlighting? Well, because it's actually looking at his net time. So if I sort this by chip time descending and go down to the 50K, we'll see that Peter Ness actually started with the 25K. So the 25K started at 8, the 50K started at 7. He started an hour after the 50K. I had the chip start going the entire time. So he started an hour after the 50K. He ran the 25K and actually ran the 25K course. And so his net time was like 3 hours and something. So now this is a database of which I copied right after the race or during the race or whatever. And so I hadn't fixed it at this point. That's why I have this record here. So anyways, that's a nice feature. It'll highlight anyone in orange that finished before the expected time. Now in green, what you'll see here is it highlights any award winners. Now it's important for this race because the 50K starting an hour early, you're going to have your 50K overall male and your 50K overall female finishing in the middle of the 25K males and females finishing. So it's really hard to pick out, even by the way, if they're wearing different bib numbers, it's still, if you have a group coming in kind of quick, it can be a little difficult to find out, oh wait, there's our first female. And so now the software is going to highlight any award winners. And it does this on this screen, but also on the public display. Now, on the public display, now this is going to show the last finishers, not those ones. But anyways, on the public display, it'll highlight them green, but that's all it does is highlight them green. And so you could, if you wanted to, you could tell your participants to say, hey, if your name appears on in green on the on the TV, on the public display, or at the results kiosk area, and it's always done that, by the way. I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you with the next race I pull up. But if it highlights it green, you want to hang around. That means, the preliminary results have you as an award winner. And so now, if only on the timing screen, you actually see what they won. And so if we go down here, this first place over a male for the 50K is down here. Now the female actually highlighted yellow because she finished within a half a second of another finisher. So it kind of overrode the green, and the yellow indicates, hey, this is a close finish. And really, that's only really taken into consideration if you're timing a cross-country race where you want to know the really close finishers where you might have to go review them. And so, but anyways, in this case, it still lets you know right here that this is your first place overall female. And it does that in real time. So as you finish, boom, it highlights it green, says that's your winner. And now this race only gives away one overall male, one overall female for 50K and 25. There's no age divisions. If we had age divisions, it would also be listing those in green as they finish. So anyways, that's a new feature, the instant notification of award winners, and the ability to notify you of anyone that's finished before they're supposed to. So a couple of nice features I think y'all will enjoy. So Next feature is, okay, so one of the big topics over the past few weeks has been the results kiosk. So I've made quite a bit of, I've spent quite a bit of time on that, making sure, number one, that it doesn't freeze no matter what you do. So now it's still possible someone finds some combination, but I feel really good that I found the main culprit. I thought in the past, I think some freezing could happen because of some other reasons based on files being transferred across the network, and I think I've got that as streamlined as I could. And then we still found that something else was causing it to freeze, and so it's one of those things I had to kind of focus on one thing area at a time, because it's hard to replicate something freezing if it's not consistent, repeatable. So I was able to find a way to get it to repeat and be consistent, and I've squared that away with this update. So while I was in there, I made quite a bit of other improvements. So let's pull up the results kiosk. We can choose one or either race. So if you wanted to have one kiosk with just one race go on and another kiosk screen with another race, you can do that. In this case, I'm going to pull up both races. And in fact, I'm going to switch over to another race. Let's do that, because I told you I'd use another race for that kiosk. Let's do this, another trail run. In this case, I'll pull up, I guess I'll do all three races. So on the results kiosk, you should see that the first thing you'll notice is that if you click on the race name, the settings are now at the bottom instead of kind of over the race name. And so this should be a lot easier to see them and set them, kind of see what's going on. Another new thing that you'll notice is that you have the ability now to say, well, I don't want to show division results. And so you may want to have it just simply scrolling overall results. In fact, you may want to not even set a printer up. You may just want to say, hey, this is just a TV showing scrolling results, and that's it. Nothing else. And this is, of course, updating in real time, and you can determine how fast and slow it scrolls. I added a label here so you can see, hey, this is going to tick down every 0.3 seconds. Or you can have it to where it stays a long time. I think 10 seconds is the maximum. And after 10 seconds, you'll see it go boop, boop, boop. And when it gets to the bottom, it scrolls. So that's always done that, but I just added the label, and I made this a little bigger and easier to read. But the biggest improvement is this. Of course, I fixed the freezing. Let's see here. And of course, I separated out the settings screen. So let me show you the division results so that you can see. If I click on division, it should load that in a second. And by the way, with it only loading what you want to see, then it should load a lot faster, because in the past it was loading all three result sets every time. So if you have a computer that you only need to see or only want to see one set of results or another, then of course it should update quicker. But anyways, this is the green I was indicating before. So here we got our overall male runner, overall female runners. Obviously those are all going to be green. As we get to the lower divisions, it starts doing the bottom fill. So basically, essentially everyone is somewhere. So you see the award winners in green. And then as we go to the bottom here, there's other divisions with more people than just the award winners. So that's the way that looks. But yeah, so if you just want to show one or the other, you just check it off, and it should swap around. And then, of course, you can turn off auto scroll and go to one set of results or another. And if you turn off auto scroll, it just stays there. It'll still update, but it just stays on this list. But now that we can turn off all the other result sets, I suspect that people are going to be setting up computers just having scrolling results here. The other way to do is you can use Run Signups live leaderboard feature, but if you're not using Run Signups race day tools, then of course this may be your next best option for scrolling results that are constantly being updated. Okay, so that's the results kiosk. Next thing I've done is I've updated the tag check. So the tag check, announcer station, and the quick results TV, they actually all use the exact same screen. I just simply send a variable and kind of change a few things because they're kind of showing very similar information. But I did update the announcer screen, and the announcer screen now will show this bib number entry box no matter which screen you pull up. If you pull up the tag check, the quick results TV, or the announcer station, it'll pull up all three. And the reason why is because if you're using the announcer station, and what this is used for is if you've got a read station about 50 feet or 100 feet or some point before the finish line, and you want to be able to have a big TV or even just a small tablet or something where someone with a microphone can call out individuals' names as they're approaching the finish line. So I didn't see what bib numbers are being used here. Let me find one. Let's say 211. So here comes 211. The tag is red. Then it shows, hey, Anna Heffington, bib number, whatever, and it shows all their name and time and all that stuff. Now, some of the things I fixed about it was some people say, well, look, I don't really care about, let's say, team name or hometown or whatever. And there is the announcer notes you can put in, like happy birthday, whatever, if you want to. So you can turn on or off certain things. And so now it won't show that. So let's take away like athlete type and gender, because if you see them coming, you're not going to call, hey, there's our female, whatever. And so let's also determine that you want the reads to show on the screen longer. So I'm going to say, well, look, show for at least 5 seconds and show for a maximum of like 30 seconds. And so let's actually change this to, we'll just do 5. So now if I type in a number, it's going to show up for at least 5 seconds. Now, if there's no other tag reads, it'll actually stay on the screen for 30. If there's nobody else to show, then it'll just have that on the screen. Now, if I drop this down lower, of course, it'll simply take the name off the screen, and there it goes, and it goes back to scan RFID tag. Okay, and so the 5 second minimum means that right now, if I put in another number, well, now here's the thing: I made it to where if you manually do it, it does update it. But if I didn't manually do it, then if a tag is red for at least 5 seconds, it's going to stay on Ambria here. Now, here's the thing. What if you got 2 people finishing side by side? And that's a case where you might let the system pick up the first one, and when you see the number, then just go ahead and type it in, 214, whatever. And there, that way, as soon as you finish calling one out, you type the next number in, then you call the next person out. Eventually, I'll probably take this screen and make it its own screen to where you can show multiple people at one time. But the problem is, obviously, the more you show, the smaller the text has to be to show it all. Therefore, it gets to a point where how many can you show? Keep in mind that some people may be using small tablets. Some people have big TVs. How many can I show and it still look okay? So for now, though, it is one person at a time. If you need to override it, you can type the number in. Let's say 300. Looks like that doesn't belong to anyone, so 2015. So there's Gordon. So there's a little bit of customization here across the top of the screen, and how long the results display, and how long will this that item stay on the screen until it clears away. And then finally, just the ability on any of the screens, let's say even the tag check, to manually type a number in. So here, so the benefit with this, the reason why I made it even on this screen, is that let's say that you get there and your reader is not working, but you still have people present their bib numbers so that you can pull it up on the screen, because there's still benefit of making sure that they registered under the right gender. Let me bump that up. This does not save when you leave, by the way, so you have to set this every time right now. Let's bump it up here. So let's say it's bib number 220. So there is benefit with having this, even if it's manual entry, just so you can make sure, did they register for the right race? Did they register under the right gender? Are they the right athlete type? Does that name match that bib number? Because, what if the volunteer handed them the wrong bib, or what if they register online incorrectly? So there's still benefit of using this screen. That's why I went ahead and made the bib number to where you can manually enter it on the scan RFID tag or the tag check screen. So, okay, so there's other updates, other cosmetic things I've done, but that's the main new features with this update. I hope you enjoy it. Looking forward to a great spring season, and hope to get some good feedback on this update.